The petunia is probably one of the most recognizable flowers out there. I mean, its amazing colors make it a go-to for gardeners everywhere. But behind those beautiful flowers, there's a really fascinating story of science, history, and, well, even a few secrets. All right, so let's jump right in. First, we're going to meet the petunia and figure out how to grow it. Then we'll get into its secret life and my favorite part, some truly surprising facts you probably haven't heard. Okay, first things first, let's get to know this incredibly popular plant. We're going to cover the basics. What exactly is a petunia? Where did it come from? And what are the main types you're going to see out there? So, petunias are originally from South America, and Argentina and Brazil, and everyone knows them by those classic trumpet shaped flowers. But here's where it gets kind of wild. They're part of the Solanaceae family, which is the nightshade family. That makes them cousins with some very familiar things in a kitchen, like tomatoes, potatoes, and even tobacco. Now, they might all look kind of similar, but petunias actually come in four main groups. You've got your grandifloras, which have those huge show-off flowers that are perfect for containers. Then there are multifloras, in tons of smaller flowers, which look amazing when you plant a bunch together. Novifloras are super tiny and delicate, great for borders. And finally, spreading types. You've probably heard of wave petunias, are just perfect for covering ground or spilling out of hanging baskets. Alright, now for the practical stuff. If you're feeling inspired and want to grow your own, here is everything you need to know to get a whole season of amazing flowers. Taking care of petunias really comes down to just four key things. First, they are total sun worshippers, so they need at least 6 hours of direct sun. Second, they absolutely hate having wet feet, so your soil has to drain well. Third, water them deeply but not too often, unless they're in a container, because those dry out way faster. And last, you gotta feed them and deadhead them. That just means pinching off the old dead flowers, which tells the plant, hey, stop wasting energy and make some new blooms. And if you really want the best results, pay attention to the soil. Mixing in something like compost is a fantastic start. But here's a pro tip for you. Petunias can sometimes have an ion deficiency. You'll know it if you see yellowing leaves with bright green veins. This can happen if your tap water is too hard. Using a special petunia soil with a lower pH really helps the plant soak up that iron and stay nice and green. Okay, now for the really cool part, the hidden world of the petunia. We're going beyond just gardening here. We're going to dive into its life cycle, its friends and enemies, and the secret messages it concerned. The petunia's whole life is basically a sprint. Get this, the tiny seeds actually need light to even start growing. After they sprout, they spend a couple of months just building up strong roots and leaves. Then it's chill time. They just bloom and bloom and bloom all the way from late spring until their very first frost. Then they put out their seeds, and just like that, their year is done. Of course, the petunias aren't out there all alone. They've got plenty of friends, like butterflies and hummingbirds, who just love their nectar. But they've also got their enemies. You've got to watch out for pests like aphids, slugs, and snails, because they can do some real damage. But petunias have a pretty clever trick up their sleeve to deal with some of those bad guys. Have you ever touched a petunia leaf and felt that it was kinda sticky? Well, that's resin, and it is the plant's secret weapon. It acts like natural flypaper, trapping little pests like aphids. And as a bonus, it helps the plant hold onto water on those super hot days. So beyond all the gardening stuff, petunias have some surprisingly deep meanings. In the language of flowers, they kind of have a dual personality. On one hand, they stand for comfort and just feeling good being around someone. But, on the other hand, they can also represent anger or resentment. It really all depends on the situation. If you want to be more specific, you can just let the color do the talking for you. Red is all about passion and intense emotion. Pink is much softer, suggesting gentleness. Purple is tied to royalty and mystery. White is about purity. And then you have yellow and blue, which are perfect for friendship and trust. So this brings up a pretty logical question, right? Since they're related to tomatoes and peppers, can you actually eat these things? And the answer is yes, but they are totally non-toxic for people and for pets like cats and dogs. But, and it's a big but, while they won't hurt you, there's zero nutritional value. They just aren't really considered food. So yeah, maybe just stick to admiring them in a garden instead of tossing them in your salad. Okay, to wrap this all up, let's go over a few really surprising facts about this flower that we think we know so well. I'm gonna bet you don't know all 5 of these. Number 1, like we mentioned, their family reunion would be packed with vegetables. Being in that nightshade family literally makes them relatives out some of the most common foods we eat. Who weird is that? Number 2, their name is a huge clue to their most infamous cousin. Petunia comes from the word petun, which was the local word for tobacco in Brazil. Number 3, long before they were just decorations, some ancient cultures thought they had actual mystical powers. The Maya and Inca believed the strong smell of petunias could literally scare away evil spirits. Number 4, that sticky stuff we talked about, it's not just a small detail, it's a real life superpower. It's a built in, all natural pest defense system. Pretty amazing for a flower. And finally, number 5, and this one sounds like it's straight out of the sci-fi movie. In 2023, scientists actually created a petunia that glows in the dark. No joke. They used genes from a glowing mushroom, and now you can literally buy a real-life glowing plant in the US. So, what's the big takeaway here? Well, the humble petunia is so much more than just a pretty flower in a pot. It's a survivor, it's packed with symbolism, and it has a story full of surprising science. It just goes to show you that even the most common banes can hold the most incredible stories. Alright, that is it for this video, everyone. Thank you for watching. Please make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel, and I'll see you in the next video.